Good morning. My name is Miss Strubing. That's the letter S, the word true, and being like the search engine. So if you're searching for the truth in research and education, you've come to the right place. Today, I want to talk about culture and what culture has to do with education. The American Psychological Association has an inclusive language guide, and they define culture as the values, beliefs, language, rituals, traditions, and other behaviors that are passed down from one generation to the next within any socially definable group. Zaretta Hammond has this amazing book called Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain. She talks about 3 different levels of culture, and she uses the analogy of a tree to depict each level. The root system of the tree is representative of our deep cultural backgrounds, and shallow culture is represented on the tree as the trunk. Surface culture is depicted in the leaves and the fruit of the tree. Now, our deep cultural backgrounds are made up of elements such as notions of fairness, preference for competition or cooperation, relationships to nature and to animals, spirituality, concepts of kinship or of family, and cosmology. Elements that are included in our shallow culture: concepts of eye contact, time, personal space, nonverbal communication, child rearing principles, what's an acceptable food source, theories of wellness and disease, the pace that work should be done at, and honesty. So these surface level elements include things like holidays, cooking, fashion, hairstyles, dances, music, songs, talk styles, art, stories, games. So, what does culture have to do with education? Our cultural experiences are being encoded in our brains. These are called mental models or schema. These schema or mental models govern our worldview and govern the way that we learn information. Teachers need to be trained with the knowledge and skills for accessing those cultural backgrounds or accessing those mental schema in their students to connect content to connect classroom activities to, and to facilitate relationships and learning in the classroom. I always say we are 7+ billion worlds existing on the same planet. And that's because we all have a different combination of prior experiences or cultural backgrounds that have now developed the way that we view the world. If you think about a diamond, there's how many different cuts in the diamond. And if I'm looking at the diamond from this angle, it's gonna look one way. But if I'm looking at the diamond from a different angle, that diamond is gonna take on a different look or a different shape because of all the different cuts, right? And the same is true with how we view the world. 80% of teachers come from European backgrounds. Majority of teachers speak the English language as their first language, and majority of teachers come from middle-class backgrounds. So imagine me as a European English-speaking middle-class teacher, which is more aligned to my coworkers, to my administrators who also come from European English-speaking middle-class backgrounds. And now we are the staff in a building of students who are not European American, who don't speak English as their first language, who don't come from middle-class backgrounds. Imagine how that would create a cultural disconnect or a learning disconnect in classroom environments. And I have no knowledge of their backgrounds because I'm not aware that that's important in learning, because my pre-service program didn't prepare me for that. And so, is that a systemic issue in education? It is. The beautiful thing is that there is an approach to instruction, an approach to classroom conduct that bridges that cultural disconnect between teachers and students, or between schools and students. And it's called culturally responsive teaching. So, what is culturally responsive teaching, and how do we use it in our classrooms with students? Stay tuned for my next video. Thanks.